Do you ever daydream about your ex regretting the breakup? Maybe you think they're your soulmate and you imagine that years later, even on their wedding day, they'll still be thinking about you. Or when they're lying on their deathbed, their last words will be your name. You believe you're the one that got away. What if I told you that this mindset that you have is actually holding you back from being happy? It's time to stop living in a fantasy. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Tiara, and on this channel we glow up internally, have a good time doing it, and I probably use way too many pop culture references.
When I said that you're not special, I meant that.
Today I want to talk about why we romanticize rejection and how to stop. I saw a similar video by Alison the Mystic, but I think she deleted it, so here's my take on it because I agree. We need to stop romanticizing our rejection. So romanticizing something basically means that you're making it look way better than it actually was, and you're ignoring all the flaws. It's like creating this perfect fantasy in your head. If you've been rejected by a person, whether you were in a relationship or not, and you're trying to convince yourself that things would have been so amazing if it hadn't ended, you are romanticizing your rejection. You are romanticizing not being chosen. Or at least that's how it was for me, and I totally understand that not everyone's experience is universal, but I do think that books, movies, music, the media in general are huge contributors for why a lot of us have this mindset. After my breakup last year, I kept telling myself, I may have dealt with rejection, but he's the one who lost in the end.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's so lyrical. Rudyard Kipling cannot breathe. Who is Edgar Allan Poe?
As if it was some kind of victory that the guys I wanted never stuck around for long. I would fixate on the rejection to the point where I would tell myself, even if he moves on and finds somebody else, he's gonna be thinking about me years later. He's gonna think about me someday and just think about what it would have been like if he had fought for us and given us a chance, and he's gonna regret leaving me so much. Even if he has kids, he's gonna put his kids to bed and then go to bed and look at his wife who's sleeping next to him, just be like, man, I wonder what she's up to. I just miss her so bad. Like, fuck my kids that are in the other room. I really want Tiara back. What's Tiara up to? Like, I was a little bit delusional. I would ruminate on these thoughts, and that version of me that was fixated on the rejection really did think she was the one that got away. Honestly, my self-worth was non-existent. Like, where did she go? Was she in the room with us? She was nowhere to be seen. She was missing in action. She was gone.
We are worms! Worthless worms! Memo to me, maim you after my meeting.
Now, I do think in some cases you really can be the one that got away, but like I said in my video about exes coming back, we need to stop obsessing over specific outcomes because expectations and obsessing can sabotage your results. I was trapped in a mindset that wasn't serving me, and I think romanticizing rejection is really just the subconscious saying, if I am not the one that got away and my ex moves on, then that is a reflection of my value. It must say something about me. It means I'm not worthy of love or being chosen or having a healthy relationship. It means I'm easily replaceable and forgettable and inadequate. Admitting that belief to yourself is hard. So it's way easier to cling to the idea of being the one that got away. It's easier to think you'll be missed so you can feel better about yourself and feed your ego instead of feeling like you've been forgotten. I think romanticizing rejection can keep people stuck in the past. And what happens to your growth when you're stuck in the past? Nothing. You don't grow. That's the problem. Growth leads to greater things, but when you're romanticizing rejection, you're too busy fantasizing about an ideal situation that might never come true. You probably want your ex to be filled with regret so that you can feel validated.
I told you I'd get revenge. Let the ruin begin. You feel the rue? You feel it!
Stop exaggerating your place in someone else's life. It's important to realize the real reason behind why you want to be the one that got away and why it would be such a bad thing if you weren't. Now, what helped me to get to the root cause of my romanticizing is something that my coach shared with me that I want to share with you. So basically, my coach was like, whenever I think about my ex moving on, I shouldn't just run with that idea. Instead, I should grab hold of it and dissect it. And that was a tough pill to swallow. She told me to think of the worst possible outcome. In this case, my ex moving on and not regretting losing me. And I was like, well, This sounds kind of backwards. Shouldn't I try to not think about that because it would just make me feel bad? But she's like, no, think about it. Think about why I follow that negative path in my brain. She was like, think about your ex moving on. Think about him dating somebody else, kissing them, spoiling them, marrying them, having kids with them someday. And I was like, oh, that hurts. And in doing that, I was able to unveil a core belief. She was like, what if that happened? How would you feel? How would that make you feel? And I was like, I feel like a loser. I felt less than and like I couldn't get what I want. And figuring that out gave me the power to change it. Now, if you have a similar core belief that stems from low self-worth or insecurity, I'm gonna give you some reminders that helped me and will hopefully help you to move forward. The biggest thing that helped me was reframing my perspective so that I was no longer operating from a place of lack. I really do think that it's important to look at negative experiences as an opportunity to learn something instead of just harboring a lot of resentment and anger at the other person or yourself. It definitely is situational and depends on the circumstance, but that's how I like to look at it at least. And I definitely am a believer that you can change your thoughts and your beliefs, because now when I think about my ex moving on, I see it as God or the universe telling me that I don't need him, and who he decides to date after me doesn't concern me. It literally has nothing to do with me. I see it as a blessing because if something is redirected away from me, that means that there's space opening up for something better to take its place. Your ex moving on is not a reflection of your worth or value. And regardless of the good times that y'all shared, you broke up for a reason, and that doesn't make either of you bad people. Sometimes endings just happen and that's life. Then you're given 3 options. First, you can have a woe is me mindset and think that good things never last for you.
This is no fair. My princess never comes. I'll never get anything I wish for. A lot of ways.
Second, you can ruminate on this idea that your ex is gonna come back someday with their tail between their legs, super regretful and wanting to win you back, and you'll spend your whole life waiting for that moment to happen.
Maybe I just gotta wish harder. Huh? Please, 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 please.
Third, you can trust the process and have faith that if you're not meant to be with your ex, you will find someone better suited for you. And if you are meant to be with your ex, you'll come back together at some point as more aligned versions of yourselves. You can use the time you have now to love yourself and work on confidence and self-worth. You have the power to change and move forward regardless if your ex regrets losing you. You want to feel chosen and loved and worthy of both, but rejection feels like the opposite. I get it. But you don't need to romanticize your rejection to receive love. I don't think you'll ever get genuine love when you do that, and waiting for your ex to realize how special you are is only going to manifest more waiting for the love you actually deserve, because everything is energy. If you got broken up with, or you broke up with them and they didn't fight for you, I think you should allow yourself to feel sad. I think you should allow yourself to miss them. I don't think those are bad feelings to have. And sometimes it's necessary to feel like a loser for a bit in order to move forward. But just remember that you don't need this specific person to get the feelings you want. You have more options than your ex. So believing that you're the one that got away isn't serving you or your higher self. You can choose and love yourself. Rejection sucks, but it also rocks because it can serve as a catalyst to reveal subconscious shit that we weren't even aware of, that we didn't even know we were thinking about ourselves. And then when we're aware of it, we can work through it and come out stronger and more self-aware. Confronting your thoughts instead of avoiding them is a key step in revealing some deep insecurities. I definitely think that there are people that do become the one that got away, and maybe you are that someone. Maybe you listen to this whole video and you're like,
nope, this doesn't apply to me. Tiara, you're just projecting. I'm definitely the one that got away.
And that's fine. That's cool. Maybe I'm the one that got away. Shit, I don't know. I used to want to know. I used to want to be so bad. But now I'm okay with not knowing. And regardless, we will be okay whether or not our exes know what they're missing out on, because we know we don't need to prove ourselves or stay trapped in the past to know we're deserving of a love that lasts. Be honest with yourself. You don't want to be the one that got away. You just want to be the one. So focus on how it would feel if you were the one. You can create that feeling internally and know that you don't need your ex back in order to have it. You can be happy and feel loved without your ex's validation. You have options everywhere. Right now it probably looks like you're looking through a little, like, what is that called? Maybe like a toilet paper holder. And at the end of the toilet paper holder, you just see your ex, right? It's just your ex. But on the outside of that toilet paper holder, there are options everywhere. So toss that toilet paper holder, because you have options everywhere. So I want you to surrender your attachment to this specific person. That was probably a really weird analogy. I feel like my coach kind of gave a similar analogy, but hers wasn't using a toilet paper holder. But hopefully you understood. For what it's worth, if you're still watching, I think you're doing great. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, prove it by giving it a thumbs up and leave a comment below letting me know your thoughts. Also, check out this video next if you want to understand and learn the trick to mastering detachment. This is my son, by the way. His name is Coda. Bye! I love you. Oh, you just burped in my face!